1, 2, 3.
Nope. Was it good for you?
It was it was the best I ever had, dare I say.
Listen, once you go gay, that's the only way, girl.
Yes. Oh, thank you for making it rhyme. That really does it for me.
Listen, it rubs off in more ways than one.
Hey there, class. We are taking a break this week so that we can get caught up on editing some very fun upcoming episodes, but we could not leave you without a fix this week. So instead, we are trying something new, and we are rerunning one of our very favorite episodes, It Shoulda Been JC.
Hey, when we originally posted this episode back in September, the interwebs were all ablaze with a possible NSYNC reunion after the boys made a surprise appearance at the Kids' Choice Awards. Now, we often joke that we continue manifesting announcements via the pod, whether it's Christina Aguilera with the burlesque Broadway announcement, which is evidently going to be starring Charger Call. He's now in it, along with writing it, and it's going to be in Toronto. Just free ad on the pod here.
Yes.
So that's coming to Broadway. But we've also announced we had a Jussie Smollett episode, and right after that, Jussie was talking about checking into rehab. We hope you're doing well, Jussie. Just before that, our episode dropped about that. So it's obviously like we put something in the universe by talking about JC, and we hope other things come your way, JC.
Oh, yeah. This podcast has a knack for making shit happen. And, Justin Timberlake is out here trying to do a comeback. And it's just
well, you know how I feel about I hate that we talk this is guys on the episode coming up. Fran and I get into it because I'm like, why do we have to talk about Justin when we talk about JC?
I know, Delon, I want your blood pressure to not raise. I was going to say that the comeback is not working. The song's not good. The Selfish song just sounds
selfish.
No, it just sounds like unmemorable. And then he did the SNL performance where he's got the choir behind.
I mean, I'm stealing this phrase that I learned from you, just like the culture vulture of it all. Did you in this SNL video, everyone, they're just black people everywhere. And Justin's a white toothpick ass, Q-tip ass in the front.
I don't
appropriating the music.
I never understand I'm going to throw a choir up in the song to give me more cachet. It's very strange. But while Justin is attempting to, get back into the public's good graces, JC is out here booked and busy. Okay? He is working. He was in a Meow Mix commercial.
Which, I mean, listen, y'all are poo-pooing it. I know y'all are poo-pooing it.
No, I mean,
not to you. I'm the general
general
culture.
Public. Yes, it is a strange choice, but I will say there's something kind of endearing about it, right? Yes. It's like he's laughing at himself. He's in a cat boy band, and you just know the check was enormous. The check was huge.
Right. Listen, would you do a Meow Mix commercial?
Are you kidding me? My IMDb has a tumbleweed rolling through it right fucking now. I don't even like cats like that.
Okay, talk about it.
But I would absolutely be in there. He looked cute in the commercial.
So cute. I mean, when did he not look cute? Let's be honest. But
I mean, there was a moment where I was worried. I was worried about him. But whatever he's doing, he's getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep. The hair is moisturized. He's looking great.
He looks amazing.
And it's a funny concept. It's silly.
It really is. It really, really is. It's actually really funny. It's really well done. I think he wrote the song for it as well.
You better have written the song.
Okay. I gotta love that he's like not taking himself too seriously while out here collecting his bag. Go ahead, JC. He's also going back to his boy band roots with writing and producing a new single for I think it's One Direction's Liam Payne. It's called Teardrops. Yes. What do you think of this Teardrop, Fran?
The song does not do much for me. It does sound like, I don't know if JC is featured on the song, but it kind of sounds like him in those background vocals, just a little tiny bit. I don't know. The song is not memorable. for
There's
me.
a clip he posted on Instagram where like he looks like he is in pain. Not like figurative pain, like pain actually singing. I'm like, what is wrong?
Yeah.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he definitely is giving me, he's like sitting down and he's like hunched over. Like, get a squatty potty, Liam.
And the
like,
neck but the veins in the neck are popping out. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but you know what? I am glad that JC is back in the studio. That's where he belongs. That is where he shines.
Absolutely. We are so glad for you, JC. And class, without further ado, this is It Should Have Been JC. We hope you enjoy. I feel like I talk to you every single day of my life, but like that's been for the last like 20 some odd years. But I always want to start with like, how are you? How you doing today?
All things considered, I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited about this episode because I feel like we have very differing opinions. We have a lot of similar opinions.
For sure.
But there are areas where we don't see eye to eye.
I mean, we and preparing for, I was like, no, you were like, yes. I was like, no, you were like, yes. So
I was like, put it in the pod.
It's totally gonna be interesting.
Let me start by saying, do you know how many members NSYNC had? And can you name all of them?
I know that I can say for a fact that they had 5. Let's try to do this test. Chris Kirkpatrick, JC Chasez, Justin Timberlake,
Yes.
such a tone. Lance Bass,
Yes.
and Joey Fatone. Remember when they used to call him Joey Fat One? That's so mean.
They sure called him Joey Fat One. I mean, truly, the name it was right there. It's just, like you. It's mean. It's mean.
It's so
especially because he's not fat. He's never
not fat
been.
at all.
He's never been fat.
I mean, I guess comparatively, he was the fat one. But he wasn't even that fat comparatively.
No, he really wasn't. And also, I would argue that it was really fucked up to go after him when Chris Kirkpatrick had white boy dreads. He had plastic. He had plastic lanyards in his head.
God, man. 90s fashions, though, early aughts fashions were horrendous. Who said that the dreads were gross? But why would you put something else in there, like a yarn moment?
In there? Yeah, he looked like a bargain bin at like a
Hobby Lobby.
A hobby, exactly.
Party
it was
City.
it was giving craft bin. It really was. I'm surprised that you got all those dates correct.
I was a stan. Like I was the kid who was like, I don't like NSYNC, but like had all of the albums, knew the lyrics backward and forward.
Were you out at this point?
Oh hell no.
Oh,
no.
So that
like I was pining over all of the boy bands and boy idols that all of the girls were, but I just couldn't say it out loud because I had to be I'd been mad. So wait, do you know the name NSYNC is evidently an acronym using the letter of all the members' names?
No.
Isn't that crazy? And it's the last letter. So N is for Justin Timberlake, so Justin, right? Y is for Joey Fatone. S is for Chris Kirkpatrick. Jason Galasso was the other N, and C for JC Chasez.
Wait, who? I'm sorry, Jason Galasso? Who is that?
Yes, factoid. Jason Galasso quit before the group blew up because he didn't want to be a teen idol sound, right? Joke's on Jason, though. They replaced him with Lance. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God. Jason is somewhere crying his little eyes out.
That regret, you know what I mean? I mean, that's millions of dollars.
Oh my God. Well, not only just millions of dollars, when NSYNC was at their peak, they were everywhere. I can't imagine having to see your mistake just every place you turn.
And the other thing is that Jason only has like a blip on the Wikipedia page. Like he doesn't even have his own Wikipedia page.
Okay, well, neither do you.
Wait a minute. Stop.
Not you shading Jason. DeLon, not a wiki to be found for DeLon Grant.
Oh, just shut. Not a wiki. Listen, you can Google her, though. Google her. She has some hits, okay? Ooh, wait. No.
Listen.
Listen.
Wait.
I hate you for that.
Let me fix it. This is Let Me Fix It, where we do our best to right all of our favorite pop culture wrongs.
Yes, hello and welcome to Let Me Fix It, where we fast forward our past to our present.
Ooh, that was clever. I'm Francesca Ramsey. I'm a TV writer, actress, and producer, and I used to be a graphic designer in another life.
I am Delon. I am a actor. I am a photographer. I am a writer, and I am a podcast host.
Yes. Well, today we're going to dig into NSYNC. That's why we started by talking about them at the top of the pod, and why even though Justin Timberlake was the breakout solo star, it should have been JC. That's my ode.
Oh, listen, I really dig it. I really dig it. It's so goofy, but I so love you for it. I mean, I just here we go with the disagreements already. I just hate that you can't mention JC Chasez without mentioning not the other members, but Justin Timberlake in particular. It's like JC and all of the other members have always been in his shadow, right?
It's true. I would argue that happens in every band, right? There's always one breakout. I can't think of any band that's had two breakouts. If you're listening and you have an example of one, please let us know, because it's usually one star and then everybody else goes off to, other industries or just becomes normal people. But here's the thing. JC is arguably the best vocalist out of all of the guys in NSYNC, and even Justin Timberlake agrees with me. He's quoted by saying, "In my opinion, JC had the best voice of all of us, out of all boy bands. Call him what you will. He was the one that could outsing us, and I've known him since I was 12. It was fun to sit behind the board and push him." And that was Justin having some thoughts about JC's unreleased second album, which we will get into.
Yeah, I totally agree with Justin too. It's not that Justin couldn't sing, but there was something about JC that was like just so natural and effortless and not effortful. I mean, if my prior statement about JC doesn't reel in my bias, I also would say that JC was the cuter of all of the members of the group, but that's just me.
Well, I would agree. He was very attractive. I didn't think that Justin was cuter, but it did feel like the two of them were positioned as the lead vocalist in the group. And we do know that Justin is an asshole, right? Like that is totally
Tell it true,
accepted.
though. Tell it true.
He's not a good person. He slut-shamed Britney Spears. He was always taking shots at her. And he really benefited, if we're going to be honest, from good producers, good Black producers, discarded Michael Jackson tracks, and ripping off Black culture. So we want to talk about what happened to JC and how would we fix his career. So let's dive in.
So just to dig in, JC Chasez, born Joshua Scott Chasez, born on August 8th, 1976. Hey, Leo, I'm August 5th. What? He was raised by his mother's former foster parents, Roy and Karen Chasez. They legally adopted him when he was 5. At 13, to get into the musical side of things, he won a national talent competition as a dancer, which made him realize how much he loved performing. As a musically oriented kid, his mom saw an ad for the auditions for Disney's The Mickey Mouse Club in 1989, and they went, and the rest is history. He became a Mickey, what do they call him, Mouseketeer?
Mouseketeers, I'm not really sure. I truly am blown away by the fact that this podcast is also a Mickey Mouse review, because there are so many. This is the second time we've talked about someone from Mickey Mouse Club. We've got Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling, Carrie Russell, Christina Aguilera, and JC Chasez. I had no idea. What a hotbed for talent.
I'm telling you, and I'm sure it won't be the last, because we keep mentioning these like 5 or 6 people.
Because we know there were some Black people on there, and we are going to get to the bottom of what happened to them.
We are really coming to find them. If you listen, you guys, if you know who these people are, if they're your cousin, please let us know, because we want to talk. Because they're the only people. There's one black kid who
we don't know his name. We don't know where his IMDb is. Just crickets. Where is he at?
He's a farmer somewhere in Oklahoma. Ready?
Oh God.
So back to JC. He gets cast as, let's call him a Mouseketeer, and was on the show until it got canceled in 1994. In 1995, Chris Kirkpatrick is looking to start a boy band and makes JC one of the lead singers along with Justin Timberlake. Factoid here. Did you know that NSYNC, this blew my mind, only had 4 albums, Fran?
Honestly, I didn't know how many they had. I think I've kind of lumped all of their songs into one big album and then a Christmas album, because that was, everybody had to come out with a Christmas album.
Right. And you're really on par there, because NSYNC, their first self-titled album, Tearing Up My Heart When I'm With You, like that, that song, right? Home for Christmas, they have a great rendition of Oh Holy Night that melts my heart on that album.
The thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn.
No Strings Attached, which is kind of like what we really know them for, right? Bye, bye, bye. And Celebrity. Can't name one tune on that one.
I don't know any songs off of that album.
So in 1997, the self-titled album NSYNC was released, like we said, and it sells 11 million copies. Their second album, No Strings Attached, dropped in 2000. And here's a really interesting factoid. It held the title for the fastest selling album of all time until 2015, when Adele's second album, 25, beat it. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Crazy.
15 years it held the title. I mean, that is a really big deal.
And who knew? It sold 2.4 million copies.
So some things that I found really interesting as I was doing research, they titled their second album No Strings Attached because they had just won a successful lawsuit against their manager Lou Pearlman and his record label Transcontinental. I think this is so clever, and they played with that puppet and doll theme on the cover and in the music video for Bye 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 and It's Gonna Be May. We say May instead of me. Lou Pearlman is a bad dude. Why has there not been a TV movie made about him yet?
You're so right. I think we should do a whole episode on Lou Pearlman.
Honestly, we should. He was best known in the 90s for helping launch two of the most popular boy bands, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. What people did not know at the time was that he was also launching his own Ponzi scheme. And for 20 years, he was convincing banks and individuals to invest in these fictitious companies.
Whoa.
So the Backstreet Boys also sued him and won. He was paying himself millions and only paying NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys tens of thousands.
Wow. So they sold 2.4 million and he's giving them tens of...
He was pocketing so much money.
Wow.
In 2008, he was convicted and sentenced to 25 years in prison, and he died in custody in 2016. So that album had a lot of meaning for them, as, cutting the cord with them and Lou Pearlman. And then Celebrity was their last studio album. And then NSYNC took a hiatus in 2001, right before he graduated from high school, so many years ago. The band sold more than 70 million records worldwide, becoming the fifth best-selling boy band in history, which is, that's a big deal. And while being in the group, JC began producing and songwriting, which is something that he still does to this day.
I never thought about all of the boy bands. Like, I think NSYNC and Backstreet Boys are kind of in the forefront of my mind. But now that we're saying that, and we've done a little research here, I had to go back and think about, well, what were or are all of the boy bands? Because, what we're going to be alive in the 20th and 21st century, like in our lifetime or the span of the 20th century, what were they? I think it's the Beatles are probably arguably the first boy band.
They are
right?
They are the boy band.
They like set the framework for like a bunch of dudes, right? Other than like doo-wop and kind of that barbershop quartet, you could argue that started it. But then I thought, like, in the 60s and 70s, the Jackson 5 are kind of the family orientation of them, right? And the Osmonds. And then I was like, it just got me thinking. I was like, well, Jackson 5 was Motown. Motown had a couple of groups. They had the Temptations, Gladys and the Pips. Thank you for going down this memory lane because it's so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
In 1980s, I call this like the band boy craze because this is when New Kids on the Block was interesting, Menudo, New Edition, right? And that's when we were born and starting to realize what some of those, who these groups were and kind of starting to buy their albums, go to their concerts. Factoid here, Lou Pearlman, he got his idea for NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys after he saw New Kids on the Block. He went to a concert and saw all of these millions, or not millions, but like a bunch of girls screaming, and he was like, money, 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 money. And decided to start his own group. Totally.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I something that you didn't mention in here that I thought was very interesting is now we have all these K-pop groups, and a lot of them were inspired by the Backstreet Boys and the NSYNC and the New Kids on the Block, because these K-pop groups, they are giving you soul. They're giving you rap. They're giving you, gyrating movement.
Wait, no, listen. I was at a coffee shop in New York, and it must be owned by Korean people because there's like a very Korean kind of theme, and all they do is play Korean K-pop, and I'd never really listened to it, and I was like, why does this sound like Blackstreet? And
they are singing down,
singing, riffing, rapping. I was like, and rapping in Korean too, and I was like,
Korean and English. They go in and out.
And I was dumbfounded. I mean, I was supposed to do work, but I was sitting there just listening to this pop music. Yeah, you're right. They totally modeled it after the groups of the 90s. 98 Degrees is one I forgot about. LFO.
No one remembers 98 Degrees. Honestly, I can't tell you one song. I can't tell you one song they had.
I don't think I can either. They had a Christmas album too.
Everybody had a Christmas album. Okay, wait, here's what I wanted to ask you. What I love about boy bands, and K-pop is really good at this, because the K-pop groups will have 30 members. I'm not joking.
It's crazy.
They will have so many, but they basically have a type for everyone. There's a pretty one, there's a bad one, there's an ugly one. Delon, there's an ugly one in every single group.
Wait, give me, who's the ugly one in Hanson?
In Hanson?
Oh, that's easy.
The oldest one.
Yeah, it's always the oldest one. In the Jonas Brothers, it's the oldest one too.
The pretty one is the youngest one in Hanson. There was no bad boy in Hanson.
The middle one could be said he's like the bad boy or the rocker.
Well, they're very Christian. I think none of them they're Christian. They all have like 12 kids. They are like, God. We believe in God. We don't believe in birth control. They are just popping those fuckers out.
Nick Cannon, who?
So after NSYNC put out their final album, Celebrity, they went on hiatus. So they didn't know according to them, they did not know it was their final album. They said, we're going to take a break. It ended up being a lifelong break. The following year, Justin releases his debut album, Justified, in 2002. Now, here's where Delon and I have differing opinions. I think, oh my God, Delon is rolling his eyes so hard. I just want to preface this by saying, I'm not here to like boost Justin Timberlake's career image, whatever. I have many side eye for him, but I don't think we can talk about JC's career as a solo artist without acknowledging that Justin Timberlake's solo career predates his, and I think is part of why he didn't pop off.
I don't disagree with that. I think there's significant evidence related to some of the reasons we can't stand Justin Timberlake that actually overshadow JC's solo career. But I'm just like, yo, do we have to give him all of this space? Can't we just be like, this is what JC did? Forget Justin. Who cares?
Okay. Here's why I would like to address it, because again, I'm going to fold it in to the JC analysis. Justified is very notably produced by Pharrell Williams and Timbaland. Sure. And I think that is why the album is successful. It's not Justin. It's the fucking music. The music is really good. And Pharrell even admitted that all of the songs, with the exception of one, were all songs he wrote for Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson rejected. And so Justin was smart enough. I mean, he's like the original fucking culture vulture in this respect, where he said, I'm going to latch myself onto these black producers and I'm going to do a white man's impression of Michael Jackson. Rock Your Body sounds like a fucking Michael Jackson song.
No, it's Rock With You. Rock With You.
It's so very clearly Michael Jackson. And I think that this is why JC's solo music didn't do as well, because it was just like very unfocused. He didn't know what he was doing. And so JC also tried going solo at the same time after their hiatus. He did some solo work while they were still a group, actually. He is on the 1999 single Bring It All to Me with the girl group Black, even though the vocals are credited to NSYNC, even though it's just him.
That's foul. That's foul.
Is that so fucked up?
I remember that song. Hey, baby, bring it all to me.
It's a great song. And once again, you can really hear that JC has an incredible voice. He also did some songwriting and production for NSYNC and other artists, including Wild Orchid. And then he drops his very first single in 2002, which is Blowing Me Up with Her Love, featuring Tara Reid in the music video with some very ugly red extensions. Do you remember this song, Delon?
I could not sing it for you right now, but I remember when we were doing the research for it, I loved this song. I was like, I forgot about this song. I really did like it. It was a bop.
It was a good song.
It was a good dance song. Yeah.
So in 2004, he releases his very first solo album, Schizophrenic. That album title would not work today. They would eat you up over that title.
They really would. They really. I mean, with like Lizzo and Beyonce rescinding lyrics, yes, they would eat you alive.
People would not be here for it.
I know. Have you listened to this album? Because it's exactly that. It's all over the place. Schizophrenic.
It's bad. It is all over the place.
But it also, like, I have to credit like the attempt, right? Because it's giving you 80s synth, rock, new wave, pop, and R&B. It's like he's trying to find his identity musically, which I really can respect. And he's like, you know what? I'm just throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks. But the voice is undeniable. The groove is undeniable. But it's just, like you said, it's completely unfocused.
One song that was a single that is a great song was Some Girls Dance with Women, a bisexual women's anthem, I might say.
The leading tone in the voice.
Wait, I looked up the lyrics because I didn't remember that that's what it was called. I remember the song, but I don't remember the lyrics. The chorus says, "Some girls dance with women, knowing that it gets them attention, and I want to get in with them, so pass me a drink and let's go." Okay, so not exactly a bisexual anthem. It's giving biphobic. It's giving male gaze. It's giving straight guy at the lesbian bar trying to turn women.
And the straight guy at the lesbian bar trying to turn women, like just AKA predator, right?
Yes.
Like if you're showing up at a bar, I mean,
Fully.
and if we analyze all music lyrics, we'll find a lot more than we think. But Some Girls Dance with Women, knowing to get some attention. Sir, you're also salty for what? Right?
Enjoy it. Enjoy the wares and shut your mouth.
Okay, get a drink. Give them both a drink. Shoot.
Exactly.
You might get lucky. Who knows?
So, as you mentioned, the album is unfocused. There are 17 tracks on it. It feels kind of rock and roll-y, kind of Maroon 5-ish. And again, because he's trying all these different things, which I agree, I give him credit for that. As a listener, it's just so disjointed that it's not a pleasurable listening experience. And it did stick out to me that it feels like JC is trying to assert that he's very sexy and he is edgy. You know, he's like, I'm not in a boy band anymore. I'm raunchy. He has a song called All Day Long I Dream About Sex.
Is really?
It's Delon. It's so bad. I clipped some lyrics. Keep in mind, I'm a love machine. Get it 24/7. Call me anytime you need. Right before making it clear, all day long I dream about sex. All night long I think about sex, and all the time I think about sex with you. This is like so clunky.
What was the Adidas and acronym?
All day I dream about sex was
Adidas.
Oh my God, there's like a rock band. I can't remember who it is.
Was it really?
It's like, but it's a play on Adidas.
Right.
It does, again, it just does not feel authentic to him. He also has a song called Come to Me where he says, I lay awake and masturbate.
Oh.
I love to hear the sounds you make. Like, sir, masturbate and make?
Also, like writing about, here's the thing, it's too on the nose for me.
Yes.
I lie awake and masturbate. There needs to be innuendo. There needs to be,
give me an analogy.
Exactly. That's poetry.
Paint a picture
right?
for me.
Yeah. I don't want to see you. I don't want to imagine you like stroking it. I don't want to see that. I mean, I do want to see it, JC. I really do want to see it. But in your song, I don't want to hear it. I want to.
Yes, exactly. Leave something to the imagination.
The reason Schizophrenic didn't go, though, Fran, was because it was delayed and overshadowed by Justin Timberlake. One of the reasons, not only his solo album, but the whole 2004 Super Bowl 38 Janet Jackson titty moment. Which
is so crazy because one, it's unfair to JC, but that moment centered on Janet Jackson. Justin didn't take any heat. He slinked away into the shadows and let Janet take all of the heat. And so he essentially fucked up Janet's career and JC's career by just being present for, which again, at the time, it was such a big deal. In hindsight, it's like nothing. Everybody has a fucking OnlyFans now. I've seen more porn on Twitter than I've ever seen in my life. And people saw Janet's nipple with a nipple shield on it and they lost their freaking minds.
That's what's really crazy is that the FEC went nuts, fined everybody. Everybody was in trouble. But to your point, the internet is the internet now, and everyone, it's okay to have like your bits on Twitter. I go to my Instagram and I'm like, how are all these muscly bodies? And I'm like, oh, that's because you follow all these muscly.
Delon, that's just your Instagram. Mine is not muscly men.
Out of my business, back to JC's. The other reason is that Schizophrenic was on the shelf for a long time, and by the time this Super Bowl moment happened, they had been slow. The record company had been slow walking Schizophrenic, and he was already working on a second album, and he was slated to do the following Super Bowl the next year, and all of that got reneged. His second album they reneged on, the Super Bowl they reneged on. They were like, "You're connected to Justin Timberlake, and what happened? So we can't do it," which is like so messed up.
Yeah, so both of his singles flopped. They did not do very well in the singles chart, and the album didn't do very well either. It only sold 121,000 copies.
And the same year, like I said, he'd been working on his second studio album, The Story of Kate, with Jive Records. And due to the issues with the label, that wasn't released either. But here's a fun fact, friends. If you would like to hear The Story of Kate, you can go to YouTube. The entire we'll put this in the show notes too. The entire album is in one video on YouTube.
I'm going to tell you to skip it. Delon, it's bad.
I mean, listen.
It's bad.
Okay, listen. Is it great? No. Is it worth a listen? Yeah. I mean, just in the interest of like seeing what he was creating and his. I hate you so much. I hate you so much. Well, let me say this. I listened to the album in its entirety for everyone. The jam that I came away with was Fuck With My Mind, which is also the title, Two on the Nose. But if you started at the whole video at 2040, you can hear the song. I mean, it's giving gospel organ chords. It's giving dulcet tones, a milky riff. I mean, my panties were coming off. I'm telling you, just give it a listen.
You're just so beautiful, it makes me cry. You always get your way, girl, every time. It breaks my heart we had to say goodbye, but I just can't let you fuck with my mind.
Listen, you've already said that you're biased. I am the dose of reality. The song is mid. The whole thing sounds like a Maroon 5 reject, even down to the title. Songs about Kate, or the story of Kate. Maroon 5's debut album was songs about Jane. Need I say less? The album, it sounds like Matchbox 20. It feels so dated. And again, I know you're going to get mad at me, but Justin Timberlake's music, considering it came out 2 years before JC's debut album, it sounds futuristic. It's because he picked producers, Pharrell and Timbaland, who are always doing things with their music that sound new and innovative. And I think a big part of JC's problem is he doesn't know what his musical voice is. He's just doing too much.
And there I agree. That's what I think Schizophrenic was about. Him trying to suss stuff out and see who he is and be sexy, like you said. I do think it's not completely fair to say that it's dated, because it's all dated at this point. But I hear you on Timbaland and Pharrell always having been futuristic producers. If you listen to, like, remember the Nelly Furtado music Timbaland did? If you listen to that to this day, it's still bopping. It's still
a bop. And at the time, it was like, whoa, what is this? Like, I remember, honestly, to jump ahead, I know, again, you're going to get mad, but I remember the first time I heard Sexy Back, and I was like, this sounds so weird. I hate this. And then a week later, I was like, because I just thought it was so weird. It was so like, there's like, there's like, there's like all these like weird noises happening.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, I was like, this song's amazing. It was just because it was something so different. And I think, especially if you're in a group and people know you for doing one sort of sound, because I will say there's like one song, one or two on both of those JC albums that sound like NSYNC ripoffs. They sound like leftovers.
I hear that. And I would argue that, again, he was trying to find that voice. He didn't know himself outside of it. And I you know what? You're convincing me. If he had worked with a Pharrell or a Timbaland, he would have started sounding like Justin. But I do think if he found a producer that helped him find his voice with them, outside of them, right? But the hard part too is that like they are both R&B artists. Like in the same way Justin was taking from black artists, I think you could argue JC was doing the same thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They are giving you soulful grooves and bops. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, one of my favorite things to do though, Fran, and I always do this whenever we talk about a celeb or I'm thinking about a celeb, I always Google their net worth. And I'm sure it's never accurate, but it says that JC Chasez is worth $16 million on Google. So here's the thing. He's not hurting for cash. He's like, y'all keep talking. I'm over here living my life. I'm doing all right.
Here's the thing. I do not trust those net worth websites because according to idlenetworth.com, I have a net worth of 2.3 million. And that is
girl. Listen, can I borrow $200,000?
Delon, I looked this up and I was like, not me being a millionaire. Not to my knowledge.
Fred said I would have a house by now. Okay.
I was like, this is news to me, not me finding out I have money on the internet.
Can you imagine?
So what is JC doing today? Mainly he is singing and working as a songwriter. He's written songs for David Archuleta of American Idol fame, which again, no shade.
Blast.
Do you know a David Archuleta song?
No, girl, not a one. I know the name from American Idol, and it's like first 5 seasons, right? Like,
yeah, he not having any hits.
God bless.
Matthew Morrison, he's also written for the Backstreet Boys. He also hopped on the reality TV train like many celebrities. He was a judge, or he was the host of America's Best Dance Crew in 2008. He remained a judge for the first 7 seasons. In 2012, he tried to start an 11-member girl group, K-pop type group called Girl Radical.
Not 11 people. Damn, you weren't lying. I mean, they do have an army.
Listen, in K-pop, in regular pop music, you've got the ugly one, the hot one, the bad boy. In K-pop, you've got like the dentist. You've got the girl with the glasses. You've got the girl with the streak of purple in her hair.
You have an entire country.
You've got a left-handed one. You got a right-handed. Like, they have everything.
One for every letter of the alphabet.
It's so true. So in 2014, JC goes on the North American tour of the musical Jesus Christ Superstar with a few celebrities. Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child was in there. Brandon Boyd from Incubus. Unfortunately, the show was canceled due to poor ticket sales. Wah, wah, poor Michelle. She just can't win for losing.
She can't catch one either. She
really can't. She really can't.
I mean,
oh God. Once again, it's hard to break out of a group and be successful. It's like Highlander. There can only be one.
And I do think there has to be something to be said for, I'm just glad to be here if my name's Michelle or JC, right? I'm just glad to be here. Thank you so much.
You are still being paid. You are still being paid. You are still being invited to red carpets. You are still getting brand deals. They're doing fine.
People know your name.
JC has also been featured on a number of songs with artists like Miguel and Blues Traveler. January 2023, Chasez appeared as a guest on his former bandmate Lance Bass's Frosted Tips podcast, because everyone has a fucking
Everybody
podcast.
has a podcast.
Everyone has a podcast. And he revealed on the pod that he is working on a musical.
Really?
So, yes. This is new. This is news. I support it.
Listen,
and we want to be clear.
He's fixing
successful.
himself. Let me fix it.
Listen, he's very rich. He's living off that NSYNC fortune. But I still hate that Justin was the breakout. So, Delon, what do you think went wrong in JC's career? Why did he not become the breakout?
Well, I mean, first of all, the delayed album, right? For 2 years after NSYNC, I believe it is, that came out in 2004. Justin's came out in 2002. So being in Justin's shadow, first of all, it's just not going to be that much of a splash, right? Because Justin was also kind of the front man, if for better or for worse, even though they were both leads, I think. What do you think?
Like I said, unfocused sound. Some of those songs sounded like NSYNC reject tracks. It sounded very dated by comparison to Justified. Justified came out in 2002. Just 2 years later, Schizophrenic came out, and it just sounded old already. Yeah. So this is the part in the show where it's time to fix.
Let me fix it.
Let me fix it. Where we each are going to pitch how we would revamp JC Chasez's career.
Give it to me, Fran.
Delon, you kind of touched on it earlier. I think that JC needs his dream producer. That is where his music flopped. So some people that I would love to hear him collaborate with, Anderson .Paak. I like a throwback sound, okay? Because Justin went futuristic. If he went throwback, because again, he's got that R&B soulful voice. Think the same way that Bruno Mars has teamed up with Anderson .Paak. I think that JC would really fucking kill that sound. It leans into his vocal talents, and I think that that's something that Justin cannot do, because
and it's in vogue. It's really in
Justin
vogue.
has really relied on great production. The production is carrying him. Might I remind you when he did that album, Man of the Earth, Man of the Woods, or it was just bad. It was just so bad. He was trying to do
him on the cover with wasn't he in like a flannel or some shit?
He was trying to do I'm a white man now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like Miley did the same thing where it was like, I love black culture and now I love white culture. Someone else I would love to see JC collaborate with is Kaytranada.
See, now that would be a futuristic moment. That would be a forward-looking moment if you
dance like dancey, clubby. Kaytranada loves a soulful voice over some trip hop beats. I just think he could really, really kill that. And then my other pitch for him, because Justin has really cornered doing a lot of acting. What if JC did some voice acting? I could see him in a cartoon, a musical cartoon of some sort.
Oh, and the animation world is huge, especially with celebrities, right? We can name 3 or 4 of them right now, I'm sure. That's actually a good pitch. I, just in the interest of trying to give him more cookies and props for his 2 solo albums, I think my fix would be an unplugged MTV style concert for his music, where he just unpacks why he wrote them and why his Schizophrenic was there and what he was going through with his life, just so that we get a sense of what I just want to know. I want to know why he wrote those songs.
Delon, you are dickmatized. Nobody gives a fuck about.
Listen,
you want to behind the music of an album nobody listened to?
No, listen. He was talking about masturbating in the lyrics. I want to know. I have questions. Why, sir? No, I just think give it more space. Explain why the songs, who he collaborated with, and he could update the songs maybe potentially. That's one of my fixes. I also thought I took a couple of music classes during the pandemic because I had nothing but time, and I took Alicia Keys' master class, which I learned some things from, but maybe teaching a master class of on harmony or how to write a song. Ryan Tedder has a great class that I took that I think I can see him doing that.
And JC wrote a lot of songs for NSYNC. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's really smart.
He has the ability and the props and they're, a bunch of us I would take the class. I would also read his autobiography. Where's that? Because I feel like there's some things he's not saying. He's so quiet, I want to know.
Yeah, I really like that idea because we kind of glossed over it when we went through his bio to begin with, but he was raised by his mom's foster parents.
Exactly.
I mean, what's the story there? I'm sure there's something really inspirational and just kind of getting personal to your point about, we don't know. We don't really know anything about him.
I know. And another thing that I found out is they also adopted his brother. So his mother had 2 sons, and these foster Roy and Ken, I think is her name, Roy and Karen. They adopted both boys, which I thought was really interesting. Yeah, so I feel like there's also some stuff I really want to know about. I would love to learn more about his opinion on the Lou Pearlman stuff. I would love to know what the fight of identity in the group, or, you know, if there was anything, or if it was all just love. Like, I really want to know some of the juicy details.
Yeah, that is really, really smart, because even the Lou Pearlman stuff, when that happened, I mean, that was like the height of their career. I really don't remember that being the story. Like,
Fran, I don't remember any of that.
No, I mean, I remember seeing his face, but I don't know anything about, like, how much money did they lose? Like, what was happening behind the scenes? How did they find out he was stealing from them? Like, all of that.
One thing I learned is, I think this was with Backstreet, and they were waiting for money and waiting for money. He took them to this nice restaurant, and they were all about to get these checks. He handed out the checks after the dinner. They opened the checks. Girl, he gave them all $10,000. This is after millions of copies of albums.
Oh my God.
Show appearances are huge. $10,000. I was like, wow.
Give me the TV movie of the Lou Pearlman story, exec produced by JC Chasez.
You've hit it. I want to see that.
I want to see that. We've gotten the Tommy and Pam Anderson.
Yeah.
We've had all of these mini series about the real story behind these moments from history. Give us the Lou Pearlman one, and JC, cast the hottest motherfucker to play you, and cast a gremlin to play Justin.
Why did that tickle me so bad? Absolute a gargoyle. Just a fucking gargoyle. I'm dead.
Everyone will be like, who is that supposed to be?
Wait, people might not know Dear Evan Hansen, which is a musical, but the original guy who played him on Broadway, he was younger when he played him, and then they shot the movie, and they cast him, and they put this wig on him that looks like Justin Timberlake, and he's like, everyone is like a teenager, and he's this old man.
He looks old. He looks real old.
Ben Platt is his name.
Yes.
Oh God, it looks. I just saw that in my head when you said.
That's who's going to play Justin in the miniseries. That's it.
Oh my God. So
congratulations, Ben Platt. You didn't need your daddy for this role. You're booked.
Uncomfortable, but true. Nepotism.
Oh my God. The face that you just made was so funny. You look like you stepped on a hot coal.
I was like, I'm uncomfortable because it's the truth.
To wrap up the show, we're going to do our very favorite segment, the glow up. We spent this episode talking about how we would fix JC Chasez's career. And now it's time to talk about people, places, things, brands that didn't need our help at all. They had a natural glow up. Delon, let's go with you first.
You know, listen, vintage never goes out of style, evidently. And I don't know, in this, 21st century, the first 20 years, it's been like vintage crazy, vintage shops. I know so many people that have record players and records, and record companies are also putting a lot of like pressing LPs. The first one I remember seeing was with Back to Black with Amy Winehouse, but now they're everywhere. So I just want to give records, LPs, record players, and that throwback a whole shine, whole flowers, whole cookies, and glow up, because I actually sat at a friend's house recently and listened to the record player, and I was like, wow, it actually not the scratchiness of it, but like you can hear the instruments. Don't get me dorkified over here, but you can hear the instruments in a different way, because the way music works now, everything's so compressed and it's like really jammed, packed with sounds, and you're like, oh, okay, it's just mashed together, but there's separation and you can hear all of the strings and horns. So I was really dumbfounded by that, and I may have been stoned, but I
love that. And you know what's also so smart about it is that these records are really catering to the super fans, because you buy the album and then they release this limited edition of the record, and then the super fans go and snatch them up. This is for people who already love the artist. You're not buying a record of somebody you never heard of.
True.
You're buying a record to support an artist that you already love. very, very smart. A lot of industries could learn from records in that respect.
Okay. What is yours, Fran?
My glow up goes to a root vegetable, the beet.
Oh.
Beets have really come on the scene.
I love a beet.
Beets I love a beet, but when I was a kid, I hated beets. They were nasty. They kind of tasted like dirt. Now the dirt part is what I like about it.
It's a root. Why to say it like that? It's a root. I will take a can of beets and I will put some apple cider vinegar in those bad boys. Let it soak for a few hours. Drain that stuff out. Salt and pepper. Done.
Ooh, I haven't done that before. I love a roasted beet salad with a little goat cheese some candied almonds or walnuts in there. I'm into that.
Some arugula.
I love an arugula. I just remember being a kid and my grandmother putting beets on my plate and being so grossed out by them. And just like, you weren't seeing beets in salads. And they just feel very like hipstery and cool and healthy. And I want that for all of us. I want us to be ugly ducklings and then emerge and embrace who we are and, be cool and have not changed at all. Beets are the exact same vegetable they were to begin with, and now they're just having a moment.
And, the only person the thing that has changed is your relationship with them, because now you're a California girl. So now she's embracing vegetables and going on hikes and all the things.
Not you tying my love of beets to my woo-woo era.
Listen, you better live in the era. Shoot, I'm trying to be like you. Well, that is our episode, guys. We thank you so much for tuning in. If you have a comment about JC Chasez or Justin Timberlake, please get at us in the comments on your podcast feed, or you can always DM us at FixItPod, which is our handle on Instagram.
Yeah, and let us know if you have ideas for other people whose careers we think we should fix, movies, books. We love hearing from you. So definitely go ahead and rate us on your very favorite podcast app.
I'm Delon.
I'm Francesca, and this was Let Me Fix It.